was one question that you would have liked to have asked of the collaboration board, is that right?
Well, if you have the questions, it's fine to just go through them.
Fine, if we can find out.
So, if I read them out, then we can work out who's going to answer them. Okay? This one is going to be for Ben, I think. It goes, CCGs were supposed to bring services to local people. In fact, local information about your meetings is less widely distributed than during the period of the PCT. Internally, your board papers seem to imply that CCG chairs may be making decisions without the full agreement of fellow GPs. The proposed solution of canvassing colleagues may not be rigorous enough.
We're going too far.
Am I? Okay. Your constitution requires you to call a public AGM. When will you do so?
Okay, so the AGM is planned to take place in September, and the intention is that we will use that time to consult on our commissioning intentions as well. The date hasn't been set yet, but that will be set and publicised on our website in due course. The question around decision making, I think that this is a reference to the collaboration board, which I mentioned earlier on. The collaboration board is a place where our 8 chairs get together with other senior officers. It has no formal delegated decision making powers. However, what is possible is that governing bodies can grant authority to the chairs to take a decision alongside the other chairs in that particular forum. It's a mechanism that we call chair's action, and any chair's action is then ratified by the particular governing body. So it's a place for having discussions where we can reach a common agreement, but the decision making maps back to each individual governing body.
Okay. Second.
Sorry, Danny, but there was the last part of that question which you didn't mention. I know Caroline emailed me what she'd written. So, in terms of the issue around internal democracy, if you like, there was the issue about, is the proposed solution of canvassing colleagues widely really rigorous enough? And I suppose that chimes a little bit with what the person from Hounslow talked about in terms of, are you involving all your members enough? So that was part of the question. In terms of a wider question about public engagement, the bit that for some reason you didn't mention, Daniel, was the bit about, are you concerned about a gulf between the CCG board and local public opinion? That a local election where A&E closes was generally acknowledged to be a decisive factor suggests public opinion does not support your SHS plans. And so I'm not quite sure why you missed that out, but there is an issue we were asking, which was about, are you concerned about a gulf between the CCG board and local public opinion? And that was a question from Caroline Oakeshott.
So that isn't in the question. I assure you that what I've read out is verbatim what the question was. There's another question about the A&E changes. So perhaps we'll answer that when we do the other question about the A&E changes, because I was trying to do them.
Thank you.
Methodically. Okay.
So I think the bit in terms of canvassing colleagues is exactly why we just had the conversation about the fact that to make this change we'll need to have engagement with our council of members. So I think we recognise the importance of that, and that's exactly the reason why we're going to do it.
Vanessa?
We do have regular membership events where all of the membership are invited to come along and participate and air their opinions. And they happen monthly to 2 monthly, and on average I would say every 6 weeks. And the governing body are there. We've got one this Thursday where the membership have been invited, and attendance will pretty much be in full, I think.
I'm sorry, and our last meeting was on the 10th of June, so it was 4 weeks ago, and we had, I think, 29 out of the 31 practices represented at that meeting.
And Susan?
Inundated with you all.
Yes.
I just wanted to say as well, I think people will have noticed as we went around the room that there's quite a number of GPs from local practices who sit on the board. I think the document that Ben presented today is the product of some experience up to this point in terms of how it's possible to operate in a strategic way across the entirety of North West London in something which resembles a kind of timely fashion, and it is a suggestion for examination. This is the first time today that this was put to the board as a suggestion, with the plan being that the board members would discuss it in more detail at a seminar and then make a decision about whether we would support it, and then make a decision about taking that to members for further discussion. So at this point it's a suggestion which is being mooted, and to be honest, at this point nothing more than that.
Okay, have we covered some of that area for you? Can we move on to another question?